lot of psychics have great stories, about my grandmother was a psychic, or as far as I know, no. I was a kid that was blurting things out. So I made my life out of blurting things out.
Wow.
Maybe like you guys.
It sounds like my sister.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Hey stoners, welcome back to another episode of Sorry We're Cyrus. We have another really fun guest on the pod this week. Welcome Riz Mirza.
Thank you.
To the podcast.
Yes,
Hi.
welcome.
How are you guys doing today?
We're good. I mean, I'm good. How are you? That's the real question.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm hanging in there.
My whole life was based on vibrations. When I was a kid, I spoke out loud a message. Haven't you guys ever done something or said something where you said, where'd that come from? But it landed?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're in the zone.
Yeah.
There's some zone. So what is that? I consider myself as a psychic medium. I know that a lot of people don't either understand it or just don't believe in it.
Yeah. Something I wanted you to start off with was defining psychic medium for
Thank
people
you.
that maybe don't know or,
Okay. So let's chop that phrase in half. There's psychics and there are mediums, and then there are psychic mediums.
Okay.
So psychics are those, and I'm going to put it in my words, not like the words you'll find in online, fortune tellers or whatever. Psychics are tapping into a field of energy. Right now, between us, there's a field of energy. You guys maybe call it vibes. I call it, it means vibrations. I call it psychic energy. So you go, well, but then how are they seeing the future? Okay, if I see a car going 90 miles an hour the wrong way down a one-way road, I don't need to be a psychic to know what's about to happen, more than likely. Take that philosophy and expand it. This is what real psychics do. They're able to see in a more subtle way. So that's an obvious way, right? The car's going out of control. You go, 9 out of 10, that thing's going to crash in about 30 seconds. Now, if you make that much more subtle, I can feel energy around a person about where they're going because they don't even have to move a muscle. I just feel where they're going. And what's more than likely, they can change it.
Mm-hmm.
It will take a great amount of effort to change it, but more than likely I can feel it. They don't have to say anything. So somewhere along that line, I would say that psychics are almost like a helicopter, a news helicopter. You're driving on the car, on the highway. Somebody's up in the helicopter and goes, oh, look where they're going. They're trying to get to the beach, but it's actually that way. They see mountains here and they think, can't be that way. And the helicopter goes, actually, the beach is on the other side of those mountains. So I'm going to tell this driver, hey, listen, go through the mountains. And the person is going, that's totally wrong. I don't even smell ocean air. It's rough. It's treacherous. So I'm not going to go that way.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in the end, it doesn't make sense because you were born with another sense. You all have it. You had it as a baby. You could read people. You didn't go to that person.
Do you think some people are more in tune to the energy than others?
100%.
Yeah, same.
Okay. So, I mean, I know you guys come from a musical family. Are you guys musical?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for me, it started off as a musical ability. I didn't take any lessons, but when I sat at a piano or a guitar, I don't know where it came from. I was just that kid. A person with perfect pitch can hear a song, right? So you hear a song and the person with perfect pitch, meaning they're able to differentiate between the notes by hearing them, will go, so do you like the song, to the other person? The person goes, yeah, it's okay. And then the person with perfect pitch goes, the reason why you don't think it's great is because actually the bass is out of tune. And the person's like, no, I just don't like the song. And trust me, let me just tune up that bass for you. Now you're going to have a much more pleasant experience hearing it.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. There are people who have a much more highly attuned sense of feeling and hearing frequencies. So when you're trying to teach someone who doesn't know how to sing better, they can get better. They're not going to be on stage, but they can be better than where they are. So when I teach people how to tap in to their natural psychic intuitive sense, they can get better at it. They may not be, sitting on this podcast,
Sure.
So medium is one who connects to people who've crossed over, plain and simple.
Okay.
Do you guys know what channelers are?
No.
Have you ever watched Esther Hicks, Law of Attraction, Abraham? Ever? Okay. Oh, I'm going to bring you into this world.
Educate us.
So I am a channeler. Also, I'm known, if people Google me and go to my YouTube channel, they'll see what a channeler is. Channeler is a person who actually has the spirit guides. Everyone has them. They were called angels, ancestors, the universe, whatever word you want to use. Every culture has referred to them. Doesn't matter if you're black, brown, white, yellow, red skin, whatever color you are. Our ancestors believed in spirit guides. We're not alone. Their job is to help us go left or right by nudging us a little bit. So a channeler brings through their messages. They often go into a state of deep meditative trance, and the spirit guide speaks through them. Somebody goes, well, that sounds crazy. That sounds like possession. It's not possession. It is literally something all the tribes and ancestors did, and it's very positive, it's very uplifting, and the messages are always of wisdom. That's how you know it's a real channeler. They don't come from fear or darkness. They just come from helping you to understand things. So I've been kind of known for that. So sorry for that long answer to your question.
No, because you're actually answering other questions I had.
I must be
on your
psychic.
own. So this is great. Okay, so I know you mentioned that when you were a kid, you kind of talked about like childhood a little bit and like having that. How did you say it? Like blurting out everything.
Yes.
So what was the trajectory for you of like being young and doing that and like where you are now? Like, did you study for this?
No, it's called resisting it 1000%. I don't want to do this.
You didn't want to do it.
I wanted to be a rock star.
Okay.
I had my hair down here.
She would have loved that.
That's all I think of. I have it in a bag if you want. Okay. All I wanted to do was to sing in a band or be a painter. And I was both. And I was a kid from the Bronx with immigrant parents from India. I grew up totally in an urban hood environment, and I was just a sensitive kid. And I had no idea that this is what I would end up doing with my life. So I was the reluctant psychic medium. I'm also what's called a shaman, which is I lead people through transformational experiences using shamanic practice. So another time. I just wasn't even known in high school as the guy who gave good advice. So I'd be at the lunch table and somebody would come over and be like, Riz, I like her. And she'll ask her out because she's always smiling at me. And I'm like, she's not smiling at you. She's laughing about you. And they're like, no way, dude. And they would then, of course, I'm like, don't even bother. And I would always be right. So it was just like, oh, he's got good instincts. And I was constantly getting visited by what I call angelic or very positive energies, somebody's grandmother or one of my spirit guides, and would guide me in a way. And it was a world that I couldn't share with anyone because even though my parents were from India and there's a tendency to understand broader spiritual perspectives over there, they weren't like that in that sense, they were just academics, and they let alone didn't understand why I was putting kiss makeup on my face. They were like, forget about now. He's doing that. Like, it was like a whole nother world, So people ask me like, well, what are your influences? I go, I didn't have any. It was rock and roll and World Wrestling Federation. I'm serious.
So funny.
It was big energy. I was attracted to big energy that way. So I started painting, and the music that was coming through was all channeled. It was coming from a place that I didn't understand. And that's why I like to share this with people, is because a lot of psychics just go, my grandmother's psychic and the spirits were speaking to me, and then that's it. And I go, yeah, but what's your journey in it? And do you have perspective on it? To me, that's always important. So I do believe that when I give a reading to someone, whatever I'm supposed to say in that moment is what I say. And as a psychic medium, you spend some of your mental energy, especially the first few years, thinking about what to say to skeptics. And I go, nobody else seems to care about that. You go to the doctor. Every doctor has graduated from medical school. Every single one of them. They've passed. The state has said, you are a doctor. Okay, would you go to most doctors?
These days, no.
Okay. Oh, it was worse in the 80s and 70s, believe me. It was worse. It was worse.
Yeah, I don't go to the doctor at all. Really.
Okay. Thank you. You go to someone more holistic in that sense. Okay.
Oh, I'm just really healthy and don't
or
know.
or an integrative. I have a message about your health, by the way. Okay. Help me give it to you later. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The degree is on the wall, but everybody's going.
Right.
They put their faith in the doctor. We don't, and that's with a regulated system, meaning you have to pass a test to become that. In other fields, especially in the psychic world or the healer world, you don't have to pass any tests. So it's a crapshoot. You might spend $500 on a reading and have a bad reading. You might spend $10 on the boardwalk in Venice and have a good one.
Yeah.
And the reverse may be true. The reverse may be
For
true.
sure.
Okay. So we're coming into a field, before we even talk about this, that is relatively unexplored because it's the psyche. It's like this thing, the unknown.
Yeah, it's like you can't measure it really.
You can measure it in the sense that someone will say, well, he said things that there's no way he could have known. Okay, that's a good measure. But what if the next person, I don't get anything? That's happened where I go, I only have 2 things to say to this person. The other person I can talk to for 2 hours. So for me, I feel I'm very actually proud of it, is that I'm really real with people. If I don't have something, I go, I don't get anything on that. I got another thing to tell you. Sometimes someone will come in and go, I need to talk about my grandfather. And who do I get coming through? The next door neighbor from 10 years ago who died. And grandpa's not coming through, but hey, Harry's coming through. And they're like, what? That happens. And so I tell people, I just work here. I don't make the rules. I just give it to you. So it's open mind, best way to go in. And I like to share that with people. So that's with people. I get stuff on animals, or I'll get stuff on objects. I don't even know anymore. At this point, it's on anything that happens. I kind of read into it.
Yeah. So when did you finally say, like, okay, I'm going to do
Okay,
this,
I'm going to
since
do
you
it.
drug your feet for so
Like
long?
anybody else, when life beats the shit out of you,
Yeah.
and you got nothing left, you're out of everything, you're out of juice, you got nowhere left to hide, and then you still try to hide, and then you can't resist anymore, because either you're going to leave the planet or you're going to maybe do something else. And that was what it was for me. Mom died, brother died, best friend committed suicide, had lost everything, and I'm in New York City sitting on a subway, and suddenly I feel I need to tell this guy next to me something, which you don't usually do on a New York City subway. But I started. But rewind, when I was 27, I went to a channeler only to find out what's going to happen with my life, what's going to happen with my band, what's going to happen with this or that. And the channeler said, nothing and nothing and nothing. I was like, gee, thanks. And I paid you $50 for that. It was a group reading, so it was only $50. But at the end, they said something interesting. And this is what I want to share with you guys and with other people. The messages are layered and they're kind of deep. They're not always what you think they are on the surface. Because check this out. So I'm 27. I go to that reading. Halfway through, I'm thinking I wasted my money. At the very end, the channeler goes, your voice is going to take you great places. And I'm going, yeah, my voice, because I'm a singer, right? Okay, now he's getting it, because I didn't say anything about me. And Spirit is going to drop the message where it needs to be dropped to many people. So of course, in my head, I'm like, of course he's talking about me singing. But he wasn't. He was talking about this moment right here. And I didn't know that for another 8-9 years. So if you had asked me a year or two later after that psychic reading, I was like, well, the channeler said I'm going to make it as a singer. So little did I know I had to grow into that message. I had to realize, I had breakdowns and breakthroughs, and finally, oh, that's what they meant.
Okay, guys, I'm so obsessed with this. There is an app called ZocDoc, and it is absolutely genius because, you can do a total crapshoot when it comes to trying new milk in your coffee, or you can roll the dice on a new workout. But honestly, finding the right doctor should not be a total crapshoot. And this app, ZocDoc, is so cool because you can actually search and compare high quality in-network doctors and choose the right one for your needs, and click instantly to also book the in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare professionals. and providers in every single specialty that you could possibly need, from mental health to dental health to eye care to skin care and so much more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, who are located nearby, who are a good fit for any medical need that you have. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours, and sometimes you can even get same-day appointments. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments, which I am the worst. I'm always putting off my doctor's appointments. I need to set up a freaking thumb scan as we speak. Go to ZocDoc.com/Cyrus to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Cyrus. ZocDoc.com/Cyrus to book your doctor's appointment. Hey guys, I am back to tell you about one of my favorite products that I get to talk about on the pod. And it is I Restore Illumina Face Mask. And it is freaking amazing. I love it. This one is so lightweight that whether you're watching TV or cooking or just doing whatever, laying in the bath, you can wear this and it stays on. It's completely adjustable. I love it so, so much. Not only does it have a red light, it's infrared and it has blue light, so that means the red light's good for wrinkles. The blue light's good for acne and blemishes. So it's really perfect for any skin type. And I Restore, they're so confident in their product that they offer a 12-month money-back guarantee. In a clinical study, 90% of people saw reductions in wrinkles, redness, pore size, blemishes. If someone bought me this as a gift, I would be so freaking happy. You cannot go wrong to gift this for yourself or as a gift for someone. It is truly an amazing product. So give the gift of confidence to yourself or to someone you love. For a limited time only, our listeners get 25% off of their Illumina face mask when you use the code Cyrus at irestorelaser.com. That's 25% off your Illumina face mask at irestorelaser.com with promo code Cyrus. So please show your support and let them know that we sent you guys.
Across the board, what I see for the world, and now we're going to talk about what's going down in 2025. I believe, people used to say about 2012 was the big awakening was supposed to happen, the big Mayan calendar and all of that. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, yeah. My teacher and mentor, who's now passed on, he used to, I call him up and say, Alex, so 2012 is coming. He's like, oh, Riz, it's not for another 8 years. They're reading the calendar wrong. And I said, 2020? He's like, yep. That's when the big awakening is.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And we were all like, okay. I mean, wow, we're going to know until we get there. That's 8 years away.
Right.
And there we are, changed everything, forcing people to wake up to whatever they want to wake up to. I'm not using the word woke because that's now been dragged through the mud.
Yes.
I would like to use the word awakened to yourself. That I would like to use.
Yeah.
So I see that as a very big overall, before I get into some of the details of what I see of next year, is I do see that the overall theme for 2025 is that humanity has to exhaust itself of its faith in whom they've put up here. Not everyone, some. We don't want to make a blanket statement. So it's some. And to break those illusions about what we think is the greatest and is taken away from ourselves, where we've gone too far into that world. And you guys know that world. You've lived in it. You've seen it from all sides. Okay. And probably is very, very challenging to stay grounded. It's hard to stay grounded without all that attention.
Sure.
It's hard for someone in high school to just get a little attention and stay grounded, let alone in front of the world. Nobody can imagine it.
Right.
And those people that do have that attention, they can't even explain it because everybody's got something to say. So I see us stepping out of comment culture. Number one, we are in comment culture.
I hate comment culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do too.
It is just
terrible.
everybody's got something to say. I had a challenge. I did this on Facebook. Nobody knew I was doing a challenge. I'm since off of Facebook because of all this, because it's a waste for me. But I said, I put a picture of the planet Earth and I wrote, the earth is a safe place, period.
Just to see what people would say.
Let's see what goes on. Just as I suspected. How can you say that? You of all people who know. Oh, Riz, I've known you for so many years. How could you say that? What about this? What about that? And they're listing all the genocides and the suicides and the everything asides. And I said, is it mostly safe or mostly dangerous on Earth? Clearly, it's mostly safe. There are countries where it's not mostly safe.
I feel like it depends on where you live.
But is the Earth mostly safe percentage-wise? Now, people
Yeah.
say, yeah, most
Depends where you
places,
live.
yeah, you're not going to just die stepping out of your house in most places.
Yeah.
So then we go to, then also what do you define as safe? Because some people
Mhm.
can live in the safest neighborhood, but still have 10 locks on their door.
Mhm.
So where is safety? Some people begin nestled in the love of their family and support, and they feel completely ostracized and completely like the pariah in their own families, right? So sense of safety is with self. So what I see for 2025 is what has begun since 2020 has been a great shift. It's almost like a 9 months of pregnancy where in the end it's beautiful, but it ain't pretty inside if you take a picture of the embryo. It's beautiful in a poetic sense. This is life. But physically, it's not pretty. Like, oh, we look like a blob. So we're looking like a blob right now.
Mhm.
We are forming. We are in just the second trimester is what I see. Okay. So what's going to come at the end of it is going to be this beautiful baby. By the way, it's still not beautiful when it just comes out of the womb, right? We just say it's beautiful. It's
Mhm.
more beautiful when we clean her
I don't
off.
say that.
You know what I'm saying? When we clean her off, you know what I mean? In the
No, yeah,
superficial sense,
yeah.
right? There's fluids and there's crying and there's snot and all of that.
Yeah.
But when we clean her off and we're like, how beautiful in every single way. So what I'm just using it as an example for that process. And I see that process happening very powerfully. And what happens right before this birth, this rebirth, is that you have great surges of opinions and stances. Clearly right now, at least in this country, it's about the political
Mm.
battle. And I'll talk about that in the way that I'd like to talk about it a little bit later. So can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
What was the last psychic experience you had? I don't mean with a psychic, but yourself, where something that you felt was...
You'd probably have a better answer.
You start with coincidences. It might be better for you if you're a little bit more on the outside of it. Where you went, that's a weird coincidence. Do you see the same numbers popping up everywhere?
I do.
Okay. Do you ever say something while watching TV and then they just said the same thing or talking about the same thing? No?
Not really.
Okay, let's go down the list. Have you thought of someone and then seen something related to them later on in your day? Like,
No, I guess like the closest I could think of would be like if I'm talking about like keys and then she calls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
okay,
And you always like the saying like, oh, your ears were ringing or whatever.
That-
Yeah.
that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like, where did those sayings come from? Because they've been around our whole lives.
Yeah.
Sure. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your ears must have been burning or your
Burning
must have
or-
been
yeah.
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You?
I've only had I had one big, huge, real psychic experience, and it was many years ago. And I'm adopted, and I was in search of my birth parents, and somebody that just came to our house, like that I didn't know, with someone else, looked at me and said, "I have the weirdest feeling you're looking for someone." And I said, "I am." And he said, "Check the spelling." And I was like, whoa. And I did check the spelling and I found her that day.
Right away.
Did you?
Yes.
Your birth mother.
My birth mom. Yeah. And so I have chill bumps. Because I never thought about or believed in anything in that realm.
Yeah.
But that definitely happened. And I found my birth mom that way.
See, I always tell people, leave a little, I'm all for science and facts, because facts even change over time.
Yeah.
Sure.
You just go. So all the scientists told us that was good for us 10 years ago. Now they're totally changing their minds. Why? Because they discovered something new.
Mm.
Technology shows us how to discover something new that we never were able to see before. So you told people that there were atoms. Like if you go to ancient India and you read some of those texts, they refer to molecules and atoms and stuff that was written 2,000 years ago or longer. And you go, well, how did they know? Well, as a psychic, I'll tell you, they downloaded it from the universe. To me, that's sense. That's logic.
Mm.
they didn't have microscopes, right? So where else are you going to go? To me, the scientific method is exploration. You don't come into science with something to prove. That's bad science. You come in to discover and to understand and begin to notice the way something is working.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can just say some people are never going to believe, some people are going to always believe, and some people are just on the fence. And they're
Yeah.
going to stay that way.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of it comes down to like how open people are to it. So like an example I can think of is my ex-boyfriend. Do you remember how obsessed he was with going to see I don't even know what he called her, but she was like an energy worker.
Sure.
I don't know exactly what term what title
That's
he
a
gave
good
her. Do you know what I'm
title.
talking
Yes.
about? And he would go see her like 1 or 2 times a week. He would even like talk to her over Zoom if he couldn't see her. And he was just like obsessed with going to see her. So when I went to visit, he was like, "Will you please go see her?"
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Sure, like if it means that much to you, like I'll go." And it was interesting. Like she didn't talk a lot. It was more about like putting her hands on you. And
Was it Reiki?
I don't know. She didn't call it that,
Mhm.
but it was more about like putting her hands over you and on you and like not manipulating your energy, but maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not really entirely sure.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? It's been a while. This has been several years ago. And you know, he obviously like loved that so much, and he is also very like energetically in tune as a person. So like I feel like he was just so open to it that he got more out of it. And like I went in there like not that open to it, and when I came out, he was like, "So how do you feel?" And I was like, "I don't know, sleepy."
Right.
And he hated that. He hated my answer because I think he wanted me to be like, "Oh, I feel amazing. Like that was so transformative." But like I just wasn't open to it, right? He goes in every day being so open to it and gets so much more out of it. And I don't know, like that was interesting to me, like to just be more open to that stuff.
I think that
Because I think your mind can really like stop you from feeling it or
I'm still
receiving
exploring that. You want to know why I'm still exploring it, even though I've been giving readings for decades, is that I have sat with people who didn't even want to come to the reading with their friend who thought this is all a bunch of bullshit, but I'll go because my friend likes it. And then I end up giving that person a reading and they're like, what? Not only did I not want to come, I don't believe in it. And I didn't want you to even talk to me. So then I go, well, what is that? Is that the universe intervening where I have to talk to this person rather than the person who actually paid for and came to the reading? So I can never say, I don't believe that like anyone is the authority on anything when it comes to this aspect of life, because it's so endless. I mean, I can't deny it after just being in it for so long. And I'm still, I'm still quite amazed after a reading sometimes or everything connects. And I go, man, what is this really? I have my theories, but this is really quite amazing.
Yeah.
And I come back down to the fact that if you talk long enough to anyone, they will admit that everything is energy, that we are in what I call a feeling-based reality. Because I could say a party can be going on around you. The party could be for you and you could be miserable.
Oh, for sure.
So we go, well, what is it? You should be happy, but you're not, because the only reality that actually is real is what you feel inside. You could also be at a funeral and not so sad and loving the person who just crossed over, but you're so spiritually connected. It's almost like they're back here laughing with you like, hey, check out, this is really funny. I'm actually good. And you could be at the funeral going, yeah, this is really interesting. I hear you. Now, other people might think you're crazy. What if you laughed? What if you're at a funeral for your friend who died and your friend is talking to you in your ear and going, can't believe they put me in that suit. And you go, and you laugh. Everyone at the funeral will turn around and you and go, what a disrespectful person you
For
are.
sure.
Or you're so grieving that you lost your mind. Now, if you fell on the floor, vomited with pain, that they'll understand.
Yeah.
But if you start laughing because your friend's spirit is talking to you, you're crazy. Don't even say it. Or you're just disrespectful. So that's where we're at now. Hearing that, doesn't that sound more logical? That that's what actually the reality is? It's not that they're gone forever. What do you feel? What do you want to be real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into a religious talk.
Yeah, sure.
But are you religious? Do you, or faith-based
you're
at all?
gonna enjoy my answer.
Because
hopefully.
to me, spirituality and religion are so different.
They are different.
Yeah.
They are different because in spirituality, there's really, it's not a set of, there's no rules in that sense. So I would say, there's an old saying there, spirituality is for people who've been to hell and back. But, I think that, I think you have to be open, and it's more than just tolerance. I don't like the word religious tolerance, because I go, hey, I'll tolerate you living next to me. How about you just accept it and keep it to yourself, and just accept it that this is your world where other people believe different things than you. The word tolerance there's a bunch of words I don't like. You want to hear some of them? Tolerance, hope, and trust. Do you want to know why I don't care for the word hope?
Yeah.
It has no power. See, what it's saying is that I hope things turn out the way that I want. I hope things turn out for the best. Well, sometimes me breaking my leg was for the best. You haven't had that happen to you, or something bad happened later? You're like, thank God that happened, because I wasn't supposed to go there or do that or stay away from that person or whatever it may have been.
Yeah.
So I don't need to hope, because I trust that all is for me. I don't need to hope that an asteroid doesn't come through the ceiling and take me out, because if it does, first of all, it'd be a great episode. Second of all, it would be.
What about hoping for better, good things, versus hoping for something bad to not happen?
Thank you. If I hope for but that's what I'm saying. That's really the different side of the coin is what you're saying is that something bad could happen. Bad meaning it's bad across the board. I'll say unpleasant rather than bad. If you say, Riz, has any bad things ever happened to you? Me being where I am in my own philosophy would say to you, nothing bad has ever happened to me. Unpleasant things have happened to me. Painful things have happened to me, but I don't use the word bad because I know it was for me. And I just take that for myself, including the deaths that I've experienced around me. Either that's going to break me or it's going to make me. So the whole world is trying to come into this, back to this, you create your reality. What that simply means is that you are getting more in power of how you see everything and therefore how you feel. Everything is different. Things are so cultural. I mean, if you think about it, my family's from India, and if I was like this and you were my grandmother, this is super disrespectful for me to sit like this. She would not be able to even sit there after a while. She'd be like, I need to go make some tea, because she doesn't want to even confront me about it. But this actually happened one time, and my uncle was super pissed at me because I had gone back to India after being, I'm American. So there were some things I didn't know. And it was super disrespectful. And she was pissed for a long time. And you go, so you're feeling bad in your cells right now, Grandma. All your cells are pissed. Your vibration has dropped because you saw my foot. This is the same foot you used to kiss when I was in the crib, right? Let's be on the same page. That's the same foot we're talking about. You used to go to that foot, and now you're disgusted by it. Interesting. Even though I flew, 20,000 miles to see you. So where are we coming from? If you grew up in the tribe, you wouldn't even have half these questions right now. You'd be like, yeah, let me tell you about this. Oh yeah, the squirrel talked to me the other day. So half of this is cultural. It's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
But let's keep going. And we're going to all these different places, but I think they're kind of the same direction.
I love that today's episode is sponsored by the brand Good Wipes. We've talked about these before on the pod. I literally keep these wipes in every bathroom in my house and in my car, just because they smell so good. They are amazing. They have soothing botanicals. They have aloe, vitamin E, chamomile, and they're super gentle and they're great for sensitive skin. But yet they really are strong enough to leave you feeling fresh and completely clean. I think it's so great to keep these in your bathroom because they just make you feel so much cleaner than just regular toilet paper. They're free from harsh chemicals. They're free from parabens. They're free from dyes. I think these would be a great stocking stuffer because they are just the most amazing smell, and it's something everybody can use. If you want to grab some, especially before the holiday season, you can get them at Target, you can get them at Kroger, Walmart, and most local grocery stores. So you can get them while you're out doing your holiday shopping
and use them as stocking stuffers. I think they're so amazing because they just are so useful and smell so yummy.
Something else, I'm just curious. Do you believe, like, I know the term ghost can be translated into many different ways as well, but like, do you believe in ghosts?
100.
Yeah.
A lot of my work is going into people's houses and seeing whether we can evict this ghost or not.
Want them out? Is that the deal? I
And I
kind of
tell
liked
them
the
sometimes.
ghost that followed me. Yeah. She was nice.
Oh,
Yeah. I thought she was cool.
I want to say a few things to you.
Okay.
If you don't. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. There's a few things that are kind of like on the lighter end, and then some things that are on the deeper. Let's start on the lighter end.
Okay.
So, how do you feel about your closet when you step into your closet?
I love my closet.
Yeah. So, do you feel like it's your sanctuary and your peaceful space? Have you
No.
ever sat on the floor in there?
Only if I'm packing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I just want to let you know that what I see with your spirit guides around you is like that's like the place where I feel you can have some quiet time and drop in with yourself, and like your guides know that you're very much, into the words and the communication and the clarity, and like words mean a lot to you, right? And that's where you read energy is through words. The words lead you into that. What did they say? What did they not say? And you have a very precise way of listening. I would say to you that, when someone comes along and just rubs your head and messes it up, goes, "Oh, you kid," like that.
Like my dad used to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I see going on with you. Like you need that. It's like someone needs to come and do this to your head, and you're missing that in some way. And that moment of what that feels like for you is your connection to who you really are.
Huh.
And because you haven't experienced that in a while, and no one has the permission to really do that to you, even if they had permission,
Matt's actually done that to me recently.
Okay. But it's the other feeling that you referenced earlier.
Got
it. So there's a version of you that lives in that. And I want you to take that version of yourself and make her your senior vice president of your life. She needs to be on the board. She's like off somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know what she's doing.
So we're talking about like younger me? Is that where you're going with that?
Yes. She needs to be here. But
I like me now better.
I know you do, but I'm talking about this sort of magical, vulnerable, sensitive you that exists. She's like your key. Also, do you know what the Saint Bernard dog is?
Yeah.
This is like, it was the one that they used to save people they used to put a little barrel around his neck. This is one of your spirit animals. And this is all about healing for your back and neck area. Okay. There's some, if I were to kind of read your physical energy, it's something back here, right side, halfway down almost. Do you have any injury or something like there? Or you need a good alignment or chiropractic, something to crack it open. Have you ever had that?
Yeah.
Okay. How does that feel for you?
It feels great in the moment.
Does it in the moment, then it goes back?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why
that's what they want. They want to keep you coming back. Those chiropractors.
Well, if you do yoga and certain yoga postures, you won't ever have to go back.
Yeah.
But that's where I see energy blocked in you.
Got it.
Another thing that I want to say is, so places in the world, I also feel have a strong vibration for people. And sometimes it's places they have never been. For me, for you, it's New Zealand. And have you ever been?
I haven't.
Okay. It's where there's a group of people that are called the Maori people. They're the indigenous.
I've heard. I watched that on Zac Efron's TV show.
How'd you feel when you watched that? Does he have a TV show about the Maoris?
No, but he did a TV show called Down to Earth. It's just like he travels around and I think a whole season of it was.
So
in
you
Australia,
lived there. I see a past life of you there.
Got it.
Okay. So when you saw that show, what did you think of that place?
I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's physically beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you have any deeper feelings about it?
I don't know.
Like
I love to travel. So I
that's the place where I would say would be a great spot for you to go.
Yeah.
Because it has the water, but it also has those misty mountains that you saw in like Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
And it's sort of like these bigger experiences where you are spending time by yourself. It started off with a little part of you sitting in the closet by yourself. Then I see these places where there's no one with you. And it's like the quietness that you need will like rise up, and it'll be like the thing that you need. It's that time alone. It's not time alone just in your room. It's time alone in bigger spaces. So it's good about the travel, but it's less about fun and more about take that place in, because those places can handle your energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like your energy, it's like you're holding it here because there's some part of you that is like, man, if I let this really out, I'll take out this whole place. And you're spending a lot of energy holding back this energy. And I'd say just let that energy out. It's not going to be destructive. It's going to be fantastic. The amount of good that you can do will be phenomenal. And you'll go, oh, this is it. That's what I see for you.
Okay.
And that's deeply going to happen.
What are you thinking?
Nothing.
I mean, I don't know you guys. Of course, I don't know you guys, but like, what do you think about what I'm saying to her?
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Well, no, I was just thinking New Zealand, Australia, like they're very close proximity.
Yeah.
There.
There's that whole region. And so those Maori people would go into and associate with the Aborigines in Australia. And it's that whole waterway place.
Yeah.
But do you have any, it's not about pearls in terms of a necklace, but you know, the clams and the oysters and all that. Do you keep any in your home, any kind of a water symbol? You should have that.
No, I'm not a big water girl.
Yeah, I'm talking about the pearl and stuff, like those symbols of it.
Yeah.
The reason is you
No, I
were a
don't.
water-faring, seafaring person in that past life is what I see. And you were what I'm going to call, in those tribes, they would have something called the talking stick.
Mhm.
They would pass around a stick in a circle. And when you had it, you could speak your mind.
Mhm.
You were the person that kind of managed that whole thing. And you go, okay, now you, and you speak, and you speak. And male, by the way, very big male energy. That's who you were. And I feel that was one of the most powerful lifetimes leading to this one. Yeah, health-wise, yeah, your life force is very strong, but I do feel up and down in hormone level with you. I do feel that's a little area you should look into and have someone, whoever you go to, like really look at it. It's also connected to your adrenal glands. So I see, if I were to go back in time of when you got, they feel like 2.5 years ago is where I see stress. So what would that be? We're in 24 to 22. So beginning of 2022, that's that period is where I see like you almost could have burned yourself out.
Was that like coming out of the pandemic?
No, it's 20. Well, that was 2020 with the pandemic, or 2021.
Coming out of that,
So we're in 2022. So the first half of 2022 is where I see when I tune into you, feel like you could have had adrenal burnout and your body's slowly building it back up. Big lemon water every morning. Super important. Down in warm water. Do you ever do things like that?
I know I don't like lemon in my water at all.
Yeah. So you need to figure out like.
I drink a lot of water though. Like probably like over a gallon a day.
Alkaline?
Yeah, that would
Good.
be my preference. Yeah.
That's why you put the lemon in there. Then it's fine if you can do that. Can I go to you?
Sure.
Very, very sensitive, very, very sensitive skin, by the way. I get very, very sensitive skin and very, very sensitive in the physical body with you, where you really need to be very still and the right textures, your right bedding, the right pillow, the right everything, the right materials is what I get with you. Like it has to be that way.
Yes.
Or it's almost like you're not getting able to sleep properly. That sensitivity is going to be evened out in the coming year for you, meaning where it's not going to be so much of an issue. Because I do see that big, you might say that big spiritual, I feel like you're going through a bunch of spiritual breakthroughs, but it's not like what's the big one. It's mini ones. I don't think you can handle a big one. It's just going to be, it might take you out. So that is something. I was question, have you ever had anything systemic happen in your gums or in your teeth? Or is there deep work that you've done there?
No.
Can you get this side and the right side back? Have you had that checked out?
No.
I would tell you to.
Okay.
And then you can update people on your future podcast. Remember what Riz said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
because I do see that in there.
Yeah.
And I do see something with ocular with you. So ocular nerve in the eye going back a little bit, where I don't know whether you fell or you did hit if one eye is stronger than the other in terms of vision, but it's the left side on you in that one. And I would check that out also. So this is, do you talk to horses?
She does.
You talk to horses. They talk to horses. Okay. What's your favorite horse name?
I could never pick a favorite,
Okay.
but
Let's just say if you had to pick one you wanted to talk to today.
I can't choose between my girls. I have horses at home.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where's home?
Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there one that you ever like dress up?
No,
Okay. They're both girls?
they're both girls.
You never wanted to put a bow on one?
Definitely
Okay.
not. I'm
All
not
right.
a bow girl.
There's one. Give me the names. I'm going to give you a message from
Ever. How about Ever?
Ever?
Ever. EVER.
And what's the other one?
Star.
Okay, I'll go into Ever. So the way it works is when I hear the name, it's like instant connection if they want to say something here or not. So I want to say something about Ever.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that name?
That was her name when I got her.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So there is it's very feminine energy. That's why I was like, when you put like a bow on her, like, and clearly she's not going to let you do that. But I do feel that this is the one that is like your healer horse. Okay.
That makes sense.
And this is the one that says, okay, just come right here and do that thing that you do. And I have a strange question for you. Did somebody change recently who like cleans or washes this area?
No.
Who's to the right of this horse?
Well, she lives outside, but she has a buddy, like a one horse.
Yeah,
with her.
what's that horse's
Her
name?
name's Melody.
And Melody's caretaker is the same as
Yes.
Ever's caretaker?
Yes.
So is there somebody named June connected to you guys?
No.
So this is in Ever's energy.
Okay.
I hear that name and I would love for you to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
She's the healer. She's coming in for you to also have, the messages keep coming back about your quiet time.
Mm-hmm.
That's, again, your quiet time. No one should be around when you're with her. She's actually transmitting healing to you. And this is all heart healing, heart healing, heart healing. Your path, I feel like you thought your path in life was like kind of like through relationships and all that you feel, but it's really about your causes. It's about your wider reach of you stepping into your power more. And everything that you've done so far has just been your training. But she is the one that leads you out into the wild fields and the wild pasture. And it's like, that's your, anything you want to know. If you want an answer, go sit with her and go, you help me with the answer, Ever, and I'm going to get it. I want to go back to you because I got distracted with who talks to the horses.
The horses got this.
Who talks to the horses. So with you is you're finally finding stillness.
She don't like it.
Well, you're not used to it, but you also know instinctively that you need it. So that's wisdom, is when you get past what you like or don't like, knowing what you actually need. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're just chasing something. So it's like not chasing anymore. See, to me, personal freedom is when you are no longer chasing anything and you're no longer running from anything. See, for me, for you, it's whatever you've run from, and for you, it's whatever you've chased. And you guys have come together as soul friends also in this lifetime, not just mother and daughter, to teach each other that. You teach her how to don't chase anything anymore, Mom, and you teach her that don't run from anything anymore. And that's why all this is happening. Like, as I sit here, I'm overwhelmed with this feeling that this is way more than a podcast for just the people. This is just the beginning for your own selves. That being said, should we go into some other things for 2025?
Yeah.
I know you got questions, so I'm real happy to get into that.
Yeah. We also have a little game we want to play. It's called What's the Tea?
What's the rules for this?
Well, there used to be some stakes, but Tish quit smoking weed, so now that stake has been erased. So there really aren't any. You just
Okay.
answer or you don't.
You kind of quick fire, quick.
All right.
We ask questions
Yeah,
and you
just
answer.
some like hard-hitting questions. They're
All
not
right,
that. They're
this
not
is
that
cool.
bad though.
Cool.
You can start.
Okay. What's the most surprising or unexpected message you've ever channeled?
So I was in Bulgaria and I was doing a week-long like series of events. And the night before that we were leaving, the organizer came to me and she goes, I know you've done 100 readings and stuff, but there's 2 businessmen that want to get a reading tonight. And my flight was in the morning and it's like 10 o'clock at night. She's like, I got a message, they want a reading. And I was like, no, I'm exhausted. She's like, no, but they're businessmen. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, what does that mean? And then she grabbed my arm. She goes, no, They are businessmen. You need to give them a reading. Oh, okay. She goes, it won't be good if you don't. I said, oh, those kind of businessmen.
Yikes.
I said, happy to.
Oh my God.
And I sat there with these two guys in like black suits and we're just, go ahead, like that kind of stuff.
Scary.
I think they had come to the reading wanting to know how to vanquish their enemies because they just figured this is like, they could use this psychic Indian guy who came here and for black magic. And what surprised me and what surprised them, and for a moment I did see them break character, was I gave them both messages about their moms who passed away. They were not there for that. They literally wanted to know how they're going to rule this city.
Oh, geez.
And that was surprising for me. And I was almost, because the message I was getting was so soft and gentle, I didn't even want to say it to this guy because he would be so offended. But I was like, screw it, I'm just going to say it. And then I did. And he went, That was the reaction. He never said anything the entire reading, but that one, And he went, okay. That was like a big deal. And then afterwards, after he got up and he just took out this big wad of cash and he just threw it on the desk. And he says, you are good. And he walks out. And that was like just a shocking for me. I don't know why that came up. I actually never told that story before. Certainly not in public.
That's funny.
But that's what happened. That was very surprising for me to even give that message to a businessman.
Exactly.
Businessman.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there anything about the psychic world that you think is overhyped?
Two things. One is that they miss us. That our loved ones on the other side miss us. They don't miss us. They see us as clear as day. They can peek in anytime they want. And they know you're going to be there with them too. So they're not worried about anything you're going through in that sense in the greater picture of things. And the other thing is that psychics who say that they can answer any question guaranteed, that's not true. It can't happen. It's not how the universe works. No way. Okay.
Your turn.
Okay. What's a common myth about psychics you wish people would let go of?
That they can tell the future in every single thing
Right.
that you ask them. That is not true. Sometimes I get messages about the future of things that sometimes people don't even want to know about.
Right.
And then I'll just say that, and nothing bad, but like, I'll just say it and then it comes true. Like, you didn't want to know about something, that specific spot in your back. And then, no, 3 weeks from now you go, the hell is that? I hope it doesn't happen actually, but it happens. So
If I keep riding that chopper.
Yeah.
what?
My boyfriend has a motorcycle and it hurts my back.
No, you could have offered that up earlier when I was like, what's going on with your back?
It's never been injured.
Yeah, but it's eating away at it.
That is true that it was just hurting.
I've only been on it twice, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I see it right now as tense. Like if you went to a chiropractor, you'd be like, ooh, that's what'll happen to you. Okay, so I want to have a better answer for that one. Say it again. What's the most common misconception?
Yeah. That you.
God damn, that's the thing that I think I got it. I got that one.
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
That's true. Have you ever channeled a message that was too intense or shocking to share? Like, has there ever been anything that you've been like, I can't say this?
Yeah, but I did share it. So this woman came to me and she was going through a divorce. And I'll just say that his name was Michael. Let's just say that. It's not his real name, but the name is important. So she's like, I'm getting divorced. My husband is just hell. And his name was Michael and whatever. And I said, okay. And I gave her the reading. And then she said, okay, I know this is, maybe you don't know this, but can I ask you? I was like, let me guess. You want to know if you're going to, she's like, yeah, am I going to meet my soulmate? Because this guy was, poor guy was super alcoholic and it was just destroying the marriage as it often does. So anyway, I looked at it. I said, you know what? Let me look into it. Who says I might not, maybe I'll get the answer. And I saw it clear as bell. The funny thing was this guy's name was also Michael. I got the name. So I was like, wow, I got the name for myself. Like, usually I can describe the person, tell you where he's from, what he's into. I said, wow, his name is Michael. She's like, oh God. I said, but he's nothing like your Michael. And she's like, does he drink? And I was like, actually, he's totally like against drinking. In fact, he's like, he could counsel you on drinking. He's that good. She's like, am I going to marry him? I was like, wow, I keep getting a yes. And so for a psychic to put that out there, that's a big thing to put out there. Someone, the name, and you're going to marry them. Cut to a year and a half later. She did marry the guy named Michael, who was actually a counselor for alcoholics, except
Wow.
it was the same guy she was married to, and he totally turned his life around.
Oh shit, that's good.
Interesting.
Now someone goes, how come the spirits didn't tell you it's the same guy? Because if I knew and told her,
Mm.
Yeah.
what would you do? You'd be like,
No way.
so I have to hold a candle for this guy till he turns. No, you all got to live your life while
Yeah.
this happens.
Mhm.
So I didn't know it was the same guy. And so that's pretty fascinating
That's
to me.
pretty cool. Yeah. I like that one.
What's one experience you've had with a spirit guide that completely changed how you view life?
Red Eagle, who's a spirit guide that I channel as a Native American spirit guide, he said, angry people want to show you how powerful they are, where loving people want to show you how powerful you are.
Love that.
Mhm.
And I went, oh my God. Okay, that helped me to let go of anywhere I had anger, because I didn't want to be that person.
Mm.
And I didn't want to be the person that's trying to show how powerful they are and always trying to prove something. And I would much rather come from love. And that was it. That was the most powerful thing for me.
Mm.
Have you ever received a warning message for yourself or someone close to you?
Yes. The warning message that I got was, unfortunately, it came true. Okay. So this was about a person's brother.
Mhm.
And this woman did not know her brother was depressed. I had told her, I said, I feel like your brother's, no, he coaches the little league team. And and I was like, okay. And he ended up taking his life.
Mm.
And that was, what can I do? I'm there for an hour with the person. I can only tell you what I'm seeing. And all I had said to her was like, I just feel depression around your brother. And she's like, well, he does get down sometimes. And I'm like, It's interesting when you tell a person to read something and they're just like, I don't know. I got a good story you're going to like. This is good because some people think that psychics read minds. So I was doing a reading. I'm giving you like the best stories from my book.
This is great.
Damn it. And I got to come up with more stories. So I was doing group reading. And so I went to the next guy and I was like, oh, what's your name? He's like, oh, Dan or whatever. And I was like, oh, your father has crossed. And he's like, yes. I said, that's William? He's like, no. I was like, it's not? He's like, no. I said, don't tell me your dad's name. I don't want to know. But okay, so there's a gentleman here by the name of William that's a very fatherly energy. So the person's like being a good sport. They're like, okay, cool. I don't know who it is. This guy's off. He calls us 3 days later. And he says, he called his mom and said, this psychic said, there's a guy named William around me. And that he's like my dad. So this guy was scared that like his mom had an affair and this guy William, because this is what everybody thinks when I tell the story. That's not what happened. So he's like, so do you know any William? And she's like, that's your father. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, your father's birth name is William. He's like, what? My dad's name is whatever, John or whatever. And she's like, he hated that name. We didn't change names back in the day. And he's like, but I didn't know. And she's like, yeah, he didn't want anyone to know.
That's so funny.
And so how does that come through? I'm not reading. He doesn't even have that information.
Yeah.
So this is what's really fascinating about the whole psychic world. It's like,
Yeah.
where is that coming from? Right. Okay.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Are there certain questions you feel like spirit guides prefer not to answer?
Yes. For example, when they didn't want me to say that the woman is going to marry the same guy because it's not for your highest good. It kind of ruins the whole trajectory of things.
For sure.
If you tell the person. And I think that they want you to, and this is good for everyone to know, spirit guides, what is their job? Their job is to help you connect the dots that are appearing. When we were kids, we'd connect the dots in our coloring book. We didn't know what the picture was till we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 110. And then we're like, oh, it's a duck. Okay. That's the bigger picture forming. So the spirit guides bring you to situations. The problem is when you don't harness your sensitivity in what I'm going to call the right way in life. Just going out on a limb to say that because we all have different ways of living life. But to me, that's why I say with you, I feel you're actually very intuitive. But I think that you're more you haven't had enough time in your own power and peace where you can really feel that and own it in a way that now starts to really make sense to you, because nothing is about protecting yourself in any way anymore. You're totally safe forever and ever and ever and ever. And you're going to step into that. And so I tell people, your sensitivity is your strength. This is a better microphone if it's more sensitive. Everything you want. If you have okay, let me ask you a question, Tish. What's a more advanced car, the Lamborghini or the Toyota?
The Lamborghini.
Of course. I mean, come on. It's a more advanced car. So why is it more advanced? Well, every system in the Lamborghini is 10,000 more times more sensitive than the one in the Toyota. Oh, so now if you ask a little kid, hey, little kid, which is the bigger, stronger car? This $500,000 car or this $20,000 car? The little kid is going to go, the stronger one? Well, that one, the $500,000 one. And we'd say, guess which one we have to baby? You have to baby the more sensitive, advanced vehicle. So the more sensitive and more advanced you become you become more sensitive, but in a powerful way. Your favorite artists are more sensitive. Your favorite chefs are more sensitive. Everything is more sensitive. So don't think you need to be, if you're blocking yourself off from your sensitivity or don't know how to really own it, what happens? You always feel like I said, you have this big, massive energy behind you that you're just like, I'm going to keep it here. I can't let this out because I'll be blowtorching this, like this whole everything.
Mm.
But that's not really you. That's the thing. And that's what I feel. I know I keep focusing on you on this thing. What's that tattoo on your pinky?
It's just a little heart.
You should get an infinity tattoo.
I love infinities.
Yeah, I feel that symbol for you.
That's pretty.
Yeah, get that one next.
All right. Well, let's end it. Since we are going into a new year,
Yes.
let's end it with this question. What advice would you give anyone stepping into 2025 with clarity and courage?
If you want to step into 2025 with clarity and courage, I would tell you the greatest courage that you need is to be able to say to yourself, I am brave enough to go inwards and know that there's not just darkness in there. A lot of people don't want to go deep down because they go, I don't want to just go take all that stuff out. And I say, yeah, but treasure is always buried, my friend. In every story that you've ever read, every movie you've ever watched, treasure was, you had to dig for it. And you will dig past those traumas. Your trauma has been your training. That's what I like to say. It's just your training. And now it's time to get off the battlefield. If you want to have a peaceful 2025, it means you're off of the battlefield. So the armor has to come off. If you had armor on right now, you're not going to feel Astra's fur against your wrist right now.
True.
And Astra's not going to feel you.
Yeah.
So the armor is, but I need to protect myself. And I go, but from what? Love is one big, messy, fabulous experience. And creation is messy. Real creation is messy. If this was an artist studio, a painter studio, and three of us are visiting, and we walk in, there's usually a mess. It could be a mess, paint, turpentine, brushes. It smells weird. There's crumpled pieces of paper, all this stuff, junk, half-eaten food. But if we see a painting on the easel in progress, we're like, oh, cool. It's a cool artist studio. We will accept all this junk. But if we don't see that there, we're like, this is just a pigsty, so I'm out.
Right.
So we're in it for the creation. If you're not creating, that's when you feel dead. And we're not talking about just paintings and music and stuff. We're talking about, are you creating how you sit here in your environment? Are you feeling this right here? Come back to your senses and feel that when we're trying to get back our sanity, I have found that it's always been through some form of gratitude. It will always bring us back. Now, some people can't be grateful that they have a roof over their head. Our parents used to tell us, be grateful you got a roof over your head. Be grateful for the food on your plate. And we're like, I don't really like this house and I don't really like this food. Okay, so what do you have to be grateful for? I don't know. Maybe I just like the way my jeans feel right now. I got to start small, but it's authentic. So authenticity is, for me, authenticity is the new commodity of the world. And some people go, well, that's just me and I'm just a badass so-and-so. And I go, that's not really you. It's a valuable part of you, but it's not the true you. The true you is like Astra right here. And that's what our animals are there to remind us of. I would tell people, number one, get a pet, get a dog, get a cat. Everyone should have a pet. because most of us have a lot of love to give, and we don't have, sometimes there's no person to give it to. So the animals are there for us, and there's so many of them. I know it's a kind of a simple answer, but why should it be complicated?
Yeah.
Also, 2025 is going to be a great year of political upheaval. Like I said before, we are in the process of rebirth. You aren't going to know what that baby is going to look like at the end. You have to know that when you surrender to the process, notice I didn't say trust the process. Like, I don't like the word trust because it means that you just want it to go your way. So hopefully it'll go your way. No, it is evolution happening right now. Most of us are not going to be here in another 60 years anyway. Let's just understand that you are in charge of your own peace. That's number one.
True.
Woo.
Well, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad to talk to you guys. We can keep going, I know, but
I know we could go and go and go.
Yeah.
I would love for you to tell our listeners where they could go to hear your podcast.
Sure.
If they want to hear more.
Absolutely. My wife and I have a podcast, which is called Psychic Sundays. It's on our channel called Metamystic on YouTube. And I do live readings to the entire public for 2 hours all over the world for free on Sunday nights.
Cool.
And you can check out my website, rizmirza.com, and Psychic Riz the Wiz on Instagram.
Amazing.
That's so cool.
Very
Thank
cool.
you.
That you and your wife do that together.
Yeah, she's an empath. So it's very entertaining to watch all that.
Love that.
Amazing. All right, stoners. Well, I know we skipped Dear MT this week, but make sure you're sending us your questions for that segment next week. It's our favorite, and we can't do it without you guys. So send those to sorrywe'recyrus@gmail.com, and we'll see you next week.
Love ya. Bye.
Bye.
This podcast has been brought to you by Podcast Nation and Hopetown Entertainment.